Good evening. This is a YouTube message directed at it from the King Blues. Other people can view this message if they want, have comments on it, whatever, have your viewpoint. I want an open discussion to this. I want it to reply himself to this, however means possible. He does this. I want him to reply to this video message. This is a message about the London riots and Itch's views on it, and I'm just going to pose a few critical viewpoints towards Itch himself. Now, before I begin, I'd just like to say I'm a massive fan of the King Blues. I went to the gig. I went to Shoreditch's gig recently in a small tent. It was fantastic. I think the songs are great. I think Itch is a fantastic poet. But I just need to be a bit critical of Itch's views on the London riots, if I may be addressing you directly, Itch. You say that the Tottenham riots turned violent because the police wouldn't open dialogue with the protesters that were being peaceful. In regards to the Mark Dugden inquiry, when he was shot. Firstly, I'd like to say to you, what did you really expect the police to do? The police there may not be aware of the details of the incident, of the Mark Dugden incident, where he was shot. The police that would be involved in that incident probably not working at the moment. Probably, if they are, it's very inappropriate because there's an inquiry taking place in the shooting by the Independent Complaints Commission, and if there'd be any inappropriate for the police involved to be working and certainly to be a part of the riot police during these protests. So only the police involved really know what went on. So I don't see how the group of other police could answer people's questions about Mark Dugden. So how were they able to open dialogue if they don't know anything about the incident? Secondly, so also they shouldn't have turned violent then, because the police couldn't answer questions. They really couldn't. Secondly, you argue that the media has brushed over the Mark Dugden incident and brushed over yet another police murder. Now, I'd frankly like to say to you, before you make judgments about what happened, you've really got to watch the news. I mean, I know the BBC and other medias can be a bit biased against protesters. I do understand that. However, the Mark Dugden inquiry, there is an inquiry at the moment by the Independent Complaints Commissions, and if you don't know what's going on at the moment, they found a gun at the scene, but the bullet that was lodged into a police radio wasn't Mark Dugden's bullet. But they found a gun at the scene, fully loaded, and it wasn't fired by Mark Dugden. That's the position we're in at the moment. That the gun Mark Dugden had, he didn't open fire at the police. So the police, it looks like so far, just opened fire at him, saw the gun and opened fire at him. So that's where we're at now with the inquiry. If you don't know, I know that just by watching the media, so it's complete rubbish that the media have brushed aside this. They do keep going back to this. If you do watch the BBC, they do keep going back to this. So secondly, I'd like to clear that up for you, that they haven't brushed over Mark Dugden. Thirdly, you say that these riots are the cause of a lot of underlying issues with working class people in poor areas. Working class youths in poor areas. I totally agree with that, and I totally agree that the long-term strategy would be to come up with social policy that would really give the youth hope of future. I totally agree that that needs to be addressed, and I'll quote Nick Clegg on this. He said that if the Tory government got into power, if they started making cuts, there'd be riots, and he was right. There have been riots. I'm not condoning the riots in any way, though. People's lives have been wrecked. People's homes, people's small businesses has been wrecked. is horrible. But I'd firstly like to say I totally agree that on a long-term basis there needs to be, the cuts need to stop, and there needs to be more investment into youth services and education for the youth, and to really educating for the parents on how best to bring up the youth in hard times. Of course, there needs to be more social policy, long-term strategies by the government to give the youth in poor areas a chance for the future. I totally agree with that. However, will you agree with me right now, Rich? Will you agree with me that short-term basis, these rioters need to get off the streets now? Would you agree with me that whatever means necessary, these rioters need to be taken off the streets? The continuation of looting, of burning down small businesses, is just going to mean more damage, the economy worse, the government will have an excuse to heighten taxes, and it's just not worth it. It's not doing anything at the moment. They're wrecking cities. Yes, they're frustrated, but would you agree with me that they need to be taken off the streets in any means possible? I don't mean killings. I just mean a bit of tough love. You get them off the streets for short-term basis, just for public safety. Surely you want the public to be safe as much as anyone else. So surely you do believe, surely you must believe that these rioters need to be taken off the streets for the time being. And if you don't believe that, if you believe they should be able to carry on rioting, looting and burning down shops, burning down people's homes, killing people, people have died now, general members of the public here trying to protect their shops. If you think that these rioters to continue, then I've lost respect for you. I'm sorry, I have. I want you to answer. Do you think the rioters should stay on the streets, carry on with the rioting, carry on wrecking the people's lives? Or do you think that they should be taken off the streets as a short-term strategy? Those are the two questions I pose to you now. And I hope you get back to me on this, because I really want you to. Please, I just want to know. I want also to answer any criticisms I made of your views. Okay? I hope for a response. Video response would be great, but if not, post something on Twitter or on your Facebook. Anything like that. My Twitter hashtag is at ArcMay90. My name's Mark Buckwood. You can look me up on Twitter. I've tagged you a few times. So yeah, I'd just like you to have a response to this. Okay. Alright. Bye.